I'm not threatening you. Say one more word, and that's 30 days. 30 days.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Sovereign Citizens Hall of Fame with your boy TP. Today, we will be jumping into another compilation video. This will be our 20-second compilation video showing some classic moments from here on the channel and some of our previous proceedings. And before I give you that lineup of the courtrooms that we're going to be in today, just want to say thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, donating through Buy Me a Coffee. All of it is much appreciated. And with that being said, guys, let me give you the rundown of this courtroom. The first courtroom that we're going to be in is Judge Tanisha Yansy out of the state of Michigan. Second, we will be in the courtroom of Judge Phyllis Webster out of the state of Kansas. And last but not least, we will be in the courtroom of Judge Raiegen Evans, also out of the state of Michigan. Just for your information, guys, the proceeding that we will sit in for Judge Yancey is a clip from a longer proceeding. So I will make sure that I put that down in the description for you if you want to see the entire proceeding dealing with Mr. Roman Brown. Also, the case that is in Judge Webster's courtroom with Danny Johnson. There are other appearances. So I will have that down in the description for you as well. And if you follow these compilations, you already know there will be no commentary at the end, but there will be chapters added to this video. So with that being said, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into these proceedings.
Please state and spell your name for the record.
For the record, my name is Roman Brown, a living man. You said spell it?
Please spell it, yes.
Capital R, lowercase O, M, lowercase m, lowercase n, lowercase n, capital B, lowercase r, lowercase o, lowercase w, lowercase n.
Okay. And Mr. Brown, I'm going to have you give your testimony from the podium as you are representing yourself, and you are now the witness as well as the acting on your own behalf as your own attorney. So you may proceed.
Yes. So I was traveling like I'm a non-citizen national for the record. I am not a United States citizen. I am not a resident in the state. I live in United States of America. But I was traveling. I didn't commit any crimes. The officer asked me for his documentation. I gave him the documentations that were valid. The driver's license, he unlawfully detained me. I did not consent to any searches or seizures. He unlawfully violated my rights by going through my private property. He in the documents that he's brought up were like you just stated, they were not valid and they were canceled. So like I stated before, I was traveling. I'm not a driver. I reserve all of my rights.
Mr. Garinger, do you have any questions for this witness?
No questions, Your Honor. I reserve all of my rights under UCC 1-308.
I'm sorry, UCC. I need to be able to hear you clearly. You reserve all of your rights under
UCC 1-308.
Okay.
I do not accept this offer. I do not consent to any proceedings. I'm not a United States citizen.
Mr. Brown, I'm going to stop you right now. You can have a seat. Any closing arguments?
Yeah, just briefly, just very briefly, Your Honor. Thank you. Your Honor, we heard testimony today from Corporal Spidell, an officer with the Detroit Police Department for approximately 25 years, who has had extensive training in traffic enforcement and conducted over 8,000 traffic stops. That he was on duty on May 12, 2023 at approximately 2 p.m. near the intersection of Livernois and Warren in the city of Detroit, County of Wayne. While he was there conducting traffic enforcement, he spotted a vehicle while he was in the gas station that had expired tags. He was able to see that while he was in his squad car. Consequently, we heard testimony that Corporal Spidell then proceeded to do a traffic stop, pull that vehicle over, and conduct his stop and investigation. When Corporal Spidell went over to that vehicle, we saw on Corporal Spidell's body camera that he asked the driver of that vehicle to produce a copy of their insurance, registration, and a license, a Michigan license. The driver was unable to do so and refused to exit the vehicle when Corporal Spidell instructed them to do so on his first instruction. Corporal Spidell also instructed the driver to place their keys on top of the vehicle for safety. The driver of the vehicle, we heard testimony from Corporal Spidell that the driver of the vehicle did not do that, disobeying the lawful order of Officer Spidell. Your Honor, throughout this whole investigation, Corporal Spidell did eventually find a Michigan driver's license on the defendant's person, which he ran through the Secretary of State. We saw that in the body camera, as well as through the Secretary of State exhibit that the people admitted. However, by the defendant's own admission, he canceled his own license. He did not have a valid license on May 12, 2023. He was not able to produce one, nor did he have a valid title, nor was he able to produce one. Your Honor, I believe you have a copy of the MCL code, so I won't go through reciting them all. But it is required in the state of Michigan that if you are on the roadways, that you must have a valid driver's license. It's also required that you're in your motor vehicle, you must have a valid title to that vehicle and registration. Finally, if you're given a lawful order from a police officer, you must obey those commands if they're a lawful order. The fact of the matter is that the defendant, Mr. Roman Brown, did not produce those things when he was stopped on May 12th, and he refused to comply with the lawful orders given by Corporal Spidell. Therefore, the people would ask that this honorable court find the defendant guilty on all three counts. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Closing arguments from Mr. Brown.
Approach the.
Yes, you may.
He gave me a ticket for speeding. Clearly, on video, it just showed that he said that he put me up for.
We don't have a speeding ticket on the record for today.
For a lawful order to be submitted, it had to be a crime being committed. There was no crime being committed. Like I stated before, I was traveling in my automobile, my private conveyance. I was not driving. I am not a driver or an employee like Uber or someone that's transporting goods or property. I'm not a driver. I was traveling from point A to point B. My automobile I had an issue with my automobile. It was stored. I was taking it to get it serviced. I was traveling there. I didn't commit any crime now. Well, like I stated, a lawful order for it to be a lawful order, it has to be a crime present. And I haven't committed any crimes. I did everything that he requested. I gave him all of the documents that were legit on my behalf. He went in my and unlawfully violated my rights by going into my private, my private property and getting any information, documents that he did get. And I didn't present those because they weren't valid. It wasn't, they were canceled. So I don't want a contract. I do not consent to any contract. I don't want a contract. I have the right to travel free. I'm a non-citizen national. I am not a United States citizen. I am not a resident. I do not reside in any fictitious address in the United States. I'm a national for the United States of America Republic. I have the right to travel. And for the record, I need you to recite your oath of office to uphold the Constitution. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm getting pulled over and took out of my car. That's like kidnapping. I wasn't. Like, this is crazy. This is.
Are you done?
This is Lisa Precinct. Purposely.
I'm sorry, can you speak that?
Lisa Precinct.
I don't know that I understood that.
This court is operating as a Nisi Precinct.
What is that?
Nisi Precinct.
Don't repeat the words. Tell me what that means.
Okay. This is a notice of Nisi previous. A demand for judicial notice of Rule Nacy. And a Rule Nacy's court. Notice is hereby given on August 6th of 2024 at 8:30 a.m. or soon the matters can be held in courtroom of the above entitled court. Move the court to take judicial notice of the following. This is a demand for judicial notice of Rule Nisi within a Nisi court. This court, by being part of the Nisi precinct court system, must follow Rule Nacy, which is a quote, a Rule Nacy which all becomes operated in final unless caused by shown against it. Since the court can require compel performance which is only allowed in the court, which is enforced some type of contract. It is Hornwood law that all contracts are either equitable or admissible for enforcement purposes. Based upon the foregoing, this court must take judicial notice that this court is merely enforcing some type of contract that will allow Rule Nacy to apply. Therefore, the court should dismiss this matter and the prosecutor does not produce, if the prosecutor does not produce content on proof with omission, evidence that the accused was involved in a actual being regulated with admissible evidence that invoked the authority of the court. Hearsay or presumption will not be permitted since this is a criminal trial which the accused justly demands due process secured to him by the state constitution.
Okay. All right, you may be seated. So the court has heard testimony from both the corporal officer, Corporal Spadell, who made the stop on May 11th, 2023. The court has also heard testimony from the defendant, Mr. Roman Brown.
Will now be on the record in Johnson, that is case number 2024 TO 22, State of Kansas versus Danny Johnson, County Attorney Jill Gillette for the state. Mr. Johnson appearing in person and pro se. Your name tag on your uniform says Johnson, so I presume you are Mr. Johnson. Now, sir, if you could get right in front of that microphone, thank you.
Can you hear me?
I can. Sir,
Yes.
you're charged in count 1 with speeding 82 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone. That is a traffic infraction. It is not a charge that carries any jail time. It has a scheduled fine. 82 and a 65 is $87, but then there's also 108 court costs. In count 2, you're accused of operating your motor vehicle without proof of insurance. Now, if you had insurance but just couldn't find it, you can get the proof to the county attorney and she'll probably dismiss that charge. If in fact it had lapsed or something was happening so that you didn't have insurance on the vehicle at the time being January 4th, 2024, that is a B misdemeanor. The maximum penalties as far as jail time would be 6 months, although probation is usually granted. There is a mandatory minimum fine the court must impose of $300, but it could be as high as $1,000. You do have the right to hire any attorney of your choice. If you cannot afford an attorney, you can apply and see if you qualify for court appointed. You can waive your right to counsel and represent yourself. Another option, you might be able to apply for diversion. That is where you apply, and if the county attorney approves you for diversion, you would pay agreed upon fines, costs, get your insurance current, and pay a diversion fee, and she'd dismiss the charges and keep them off your record. If you want to talk about diversion or anything else with your attorney, you certainly will have the opportunity to do that. Your pleas, you have a choice of pleas. You can plead not guilty and we can set this for trial at a later date. You can plead guilty, admitting the charge, and we would proceed with sentencing. Or you could plead no contest, which is neither admitting nor denying the charges, but you'd still most likely be found guilty and we'd proceed to sentencing. If you want to look into diversion, we'll enter a not guilty plea to give you time to do that. You can always change your plea, but once you're convicted, pre-trial diversion is off the table. So
probably not eligible for diversion based on his driving record.
oh, okay. Well, do you want to talk to an attorney then and discuss whether or not you have a defense? Or?
No, Your Honor, I would like to request a declaratory judgment due to there is no agreement for my performance under any agreement or commission of this court.
Well, I don't need an agreement from you, sir. So if I were...
Well, Your Honor, I simply do not understand the nature and cause of the accusation with regard to the jurisdiction of the venue and nature of this action until the prosecutor properly alleges them there. I cannot enter a plea to the charge until I have the opportunity to raise a meaningful defense on my behalf.
All right, I will then, since you cannot enter a plea today, I will enter a not guilty plea for you and give you
I
Time.
object, Your Honor. I object to you entering a plea to me because I must understand the nature and cause of these accusations. So I do not agree to you entering a plea on my behalf.
Well, your position is taken and I'm still going to do it. I will note your objection for the record, but I'm going to enter a not guilty plea.
Well,
Now,
I object to you
okay,
entering
your
a plea on
objection
my
is
behalf.
noted. Your objection is noted, and if the time comes, you can appeal that to the Court of Appeals. Now, on the issue
Well,
of
who is,
attorney,
Your Honor, I would like to ask, who bring these charges against me? I should have the right to
all
question.
right, we're not going to have this debate right now. I've told you your charges. I've told you the state of Kansas has filed those through its attorney, Jill Gillette. Now,
Well, I would
all
like to
right,
call the
I'm going
state I would like to call the state to the stand, Your Honor.
We're
The
not doing
state
that,
bringing
sir.
charges against me. Who is it? How did I injure the state?
All right, this is your first appearance. I advise you of your rights. I advise you of your charges and possible
Your Honor,
penalty.
I object to the proceeding, for I do not know the nature and cause of the
I'm
proceeding.
entering a not guilty plea. Missy, when is
I
the
object to you entering I object to you entering a plea on my behalf. I do not grant you that right.
Missy?
The court date,
You're supposed to act as a trustee.
Sir, you
Now,
need to stop. You're being in contempt of court. You need to stop or I'll have the officer assist you in stopping. Missy?
well, Your Honor, I would like to also bring to you
September
according to
27th.
USC 12203.
Deputy Miles.
And also
could you,
Article 3, the judge must
this
operate in good
moment.
good behavior. So therefore, if you're making a threat towards me, then
Deputy,
that's
if he's going to
urging
keep
me to
being
perform in your
contentious, I'm going to
court.
have you take him into custody on contempt.
Then that would be illegal search and seizures, Your
No,
Honor.
it wouldn't. You need to go back.
It will.
All right,
It's
Missy.
false
I
imprisonment.
want you to stop talking or you can go upstairs to the county jail. Now, do you want to go to jail tonight?
Your Honor, again, Title
Deputy
42
Miles, could you come in and
USC
assist the defendant?
September 27th at 9 o'clock will be the court date.
September 27th, you said 9 o'clock?
Yes.
9 a.m. You must be back here, sir, in person at the courthouse, or you will be arrested for failure to come to court.
Your Honor.
Now, that deputy there is going to take you into custody if you cannot control yourself through the remainder of this hearing.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just enforcing my right, Your Honor.
All right, so your first right is to have a hearing date, and that is September 27th, 9 a.m. The second
Your Honor, I
right,
also have a right to understand the nature of this. I have a right to understand the
all
nature
right.
of
If you don't want to listen to me, you can go to jail. Do you want to hire an attorney or apply for court appointed?
No, I do not. I don't need to hire an attorney, Your Honor.
You want to represent yourself?
I don't need to hire an attorney. I would like for you as the judge, Your Honor, to explain to me the nature and cause of the.
All right, I'm not going to appoint an attorney if you don't want me to. If you want, you said you don't want to hire an attorney. If you want to apply for court appointed, the officers have forms there that you can fill out. If
I
you
just
don't
want to
fill them
understand the
out,
nature
I'm
and
going-
cause.
If you don't want to fill one out, I'm going to assume you don't want an attorney. And then if you come to court September 27th at 9 a.m., you're going to be representing yourself if you don't hire or apply for court appointed. And so you've got the third issue. Does he have a bond? Looks like you do because you failed to appear February 27th at your first appearance. So bench warrant was issued, bond was set at $1,000 cash for professional surety. Looks like that was posted. Looks like you made a cash bond of $1,000. Does that sound right? You put up $1,000 cash back in July 12th?
I'm still trying to understand the nature and cause of this allegation, Your Honor.
I will continue your bond unless you get yourself hauled into jail on contempt before you leave. I will continue your bond with the condition that you reappear here in person at September 27th at 9 a.m. So you've got your court date, you've got your bond, and we've talked about your lawyer. Now, you're wearing a U.S. Army uniform with the name Johnson on it. Are you in or have you been in the United States military?
Your Honor, I'm still trying to understand the nature and cause of the allegation, Your Honor.
All right. If you can leave the courthouse now without any further disruption, I will let you do so. And I'm going to have those officers escort you to make sure you do so. So, Ms. Gillette, anything further?
Your Honor, it is your oath to explain the nature and cause of the allegation against me. Are you failing to do that?
All right, you can either walk out the front door with the officers, or you can walk upstairs to the county jail with the officers. The choice is yours. Either leave.
Your Honor, I'm trying to understand.
Or leave disruptively.
I'm not being disruptive. I'm just trying to understand the nature and cause of the charge.
All right, officers, I'm gonna close.
What am I doing? I'm sitting here trying to understand the charge.
If he gives any more grief.
All I'm asking is to understand the charges. This is for the record. You said it's for the record, so I'm trying to understand what am I being charged?
The charges. Goodbye, sir.
I just want to understand the nature and cause of the charges, Your Honor. That's all I ask. It is your oath to give that.
If you tell me what kind of questions you have, I'll be happy to answer them, but I've already told you.
Okay, under what jurisdiction is these charges being brought to me under?
All the
State of
jurisdictions.
Kansas is charging you
All of
speeding
them.
82 and a 65 and operating in a motor vehicle without liability insurance on January 4th, 2024 in Greenwood County, Kansas. You failed to appear for your first appearance, and a bench warrant was issued, and you were arrested, and you made a bond of $1,000 cash or surety, posting a cash bond. Now you have to go to court, and you have to answer those charges. You can
Your Honor,
have a trial if you like, and the burden will be on the state of Kansas to either prove or disprove. If they can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, you're let go.
Well, I'm still trying to understand what jurisdiction am I being charged under, Your Honor? That's all I'm trying to understand.
You're being charged under the jurisdiction of the state of Kansas under its criminal.
But according to the Constitution, there are only two jurisdictions.
All right, we'll have that on a later date. We'll be at recess, officers. Please escort him one way or the other, depending on his behavior.
But I'm still not understanding what you're charging me with.
Goodbye. We are adjourned.
But if she's the judge, I'm supposed to have clear and concise of what I'm being charged with. I'm not giving y'all a problem. I'm trying to. Well, I'm waiting on the Your Honor to explain.
All right, Missy.
But that's it.
That's our last case on the docket, isn't it?
This is not good.
Yes.
All right. All right. Ms. Gillette, I'll see you at 3:30 docket.
Your Honor, can I please go home? Your Honor, can I please go home? I'll leave.
All right. Well.
Can I go home?
I left it up to them, and I left it up to you, and then they were to behave accordingly.
This District Court is back in session with the Honorable Raiegen Evans presiding. While court's in session, there's no reading, walking, talking, driving, eating, smoking. When your name is called, please give your full and undivided attention to the court. Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, good morning. This is the People versus Carlos Durham, ticket number 203978842, count 1, drove out license not valid or improper license. Ticket number SP11540063, count 1, drove out license not valid or improper license. And it looks like we're here for a review on ticket number U40128517. The conviction is disorderly conduct. Good morning. Please say your name to the record.
I'm here.
Your Honor, my name is Carlos. My name is Carlos of the Durham family, and I'm here as executor of the estate named in this matter and beneficiary, and I appoint you, the judge, as trustee. My name is Carlos. My name is Carlos of the Durham family, and I'm here as executor of the estate named in this matter and beneficiary, and I appoint you, the judge, as trustee to dismiss this matter.
You can't appoint me as a trustee. I'm not the trustee on this matter. I'm the judge of this matter. And we're not dealing with any beneficiaries or any of that. You're dealing with the defendant. And it's my understanding that you are Carlos Durham and you're the defendant in this matter.
Do I have a right to subrogation? Does the prosecutor give me the right to subrogation? Do I have a right to subrogation?
I don't even know what that is. What's subrogation?
I require subrogation.
What is that?
You don't know what subrogation is, Your Honor?
I don't.
Okay. Are these proceedings being recorded?
They are.
Is your bond and oath of office valid, current, up to date, and still in effect?
I'm an active member of the bar.
For the record, please present your bond and oath of office to the court. The prosecution bonded for this matter.
The prosecutor is not present right now, Mr. Durham, but I don't have to do that. So
I'm here at special appearance, and I'm here for the purposes of demurrer. All rights reserved under my full God-given name, Carlos Lorenzo Durham, as indicated by this birth certificate.
Mr.
Right
Durham,
here.
Mr. Durham,
I am also the sole beneficiary for this legal entity.
Mr. Durham, everything that you're stating does not apply to this court, sir.
So the Supreme Court and the Constitution doesn't apply to this court? What jurisdiction is this court operating under? Common law or admiralty jurisdiction? Because those are the only two jurisdictions that's mentioned in the Constitution. Which jurisdiction is this court operating under?
Either. We're operating under state law.
So it's operating under statutory? Is it operating under statutory jurisdiction, Judge? Because if it is, I need to know the rules and procedures for statutory so I can defend myself. Could you tell me where I can find a copy of that?
Mr. Durham, we're operating under the law of the city. These are city ordinances and these are misdemeanors.
Those are not laws, ma'am. I'm American State National, ma'am.
Mr. Durham, these are your options today. This is, one is already set for a review because it looks like you already made admissions. It looks like you pled guilty to one charge.
I didn't plead guilty to nothing. I didn't plead guilty to nothing, ma'am. I didn't plead guilty to nothing, ma'am. A judge was operating.
Mr. Durham,
I didn't plead guilty to nothing, ma'am.
Mr. Durham, how this can work, we both can't talk at the same time. So you need to be respectful and let me say what I need to say. I've let you say what you needed to say. So you need to let the court speak now. So you've already pled guilty, sir, in 2017. Or no, your plea date actually was October 4th, it looks like. And you were charged with offer to engage the services of another for an act of prostitution. It was amended to disorderly conduct. And so we're here for a review on that matter. We have two charges of drove while license not valid or improper license. The offense date is October 18, 2020. And then there's another drove while license not valid or improper license charge with the offense date of January 14, 2021. Now, today, you can either set these for, they're already set for a pretrial. So you can set this for a trial, which it could be a bench trial, where the court, meaning the judge, myself, would decide if you're guilty or not of these offenses, or you can set it for a jury trial. Those are your options, sir.
So my option today is not to challenge jurisdiction, because when jurisdiction is challenged, everything must stop and jurisdiction must be presented. You must prove your jurisdiction. It right now. Everything must stop and you must prove your jurisdiction right now.
You're incorrect, sir. I don't have
Ma'am, I'm incorrect. Your oath of office says you're supposed to uphold the Constitution and all laws pursuant. The Constitution says I have rights, and you're not giving me, you're violating my rights by not telling me what jurisdiction we're operating under. Prove your jurisdiction, ma'am.
I'm not violating your rights, Mr. Durham.
Prove your jurisdiction, ma'am.
I don't have to prove my jurisdiction.
Yes, you do, because jurisdiction, when it has to be proven, must be proven. If you're exerting authority over me, you must prove your authority. Prove your jurisdiction, ma'am.
Mr. Durham, what we'll do is we'll set this for a jury trial. And so I
want a jury of my peers. I'm an American state national, so I get 6 American state nationals as my jury. I need the prosecution to send me my right to subrogation in writing. I need your oath of office and your bonding information so I can make sure you are who you say you are and who you claim to be and what your duties and responsibilities are. All public officials must be bonded. I need all of y'all for full disclosure. Am I getting full disclosure right now, ma'am? I need full disclosure before I can make any decisions.
I've told you all that. So
no, you did not tell me all that. I need the name and the address of your bonding company and your policy number to make sure your oath of office is current. I need all of that.
That doesn't apply here, Mr. Durham.
Really now? The law doesn't apply to you. You're above the law is what you're saying.
So I'm going to set this for a jury trial, sir. What I'll do is, do you want to retain your own attorney or are you going to represent yourself?
Ma'am, I'm only here for the one purpose of subrogation. Nobody has given me nothing what I asked for, but you keep trying to force yourself on me.
I'm not forcing anything. You're here for something that doesn't apply to this court, Mr. Durham. If you're here for
so why don't you dismiss the case? Because I was not driving, I was traveling, ma'am.
As a defendant. You're not here as a
No, I'm not here as a defendant, ma'am.
Beneficiary.
I'm here as a beneficiary, ma'am.
You cannot come here and tell me how it's going to work. That is not how it goes.
So I need full disclosure. Am I getting full disclosure?
Absolutely.
Yes or no?
Yes.
What jurisdiction is this court operating under? Common law or admiralty jurisdiction? Which jurisdiction is this court operating under? Statutory jurisdiction?
The jurisdiction of the city of Detroit.
Is that statutory? Is that statutory? Because the city of Detroit don't get to overrule the Supreme Court or the Constitution. And it says if it tries to do that, everything you do is null and void. The Constitution overrules the law of the land, and that's what I'm under.
In order to be heard by the Supreme Court, Mr. Durham, you have to first go through the district court. And
no, ma'am, that's not true. That's not true, ma'am.
Agree with it, then you can appeal it. But as of now,
I asked to see the lawyer's bond. I asked to see the attorney's bond. I asked to see the contract you have, so I can.
Do you want to retain your own counsel, Mr. Durham? He's muted. We'll just it just looks like that you're supposed to pay the fine of $50. So we'll just have you pay that on the next day by the next time you come back, which will be January 17th. So you need to pay the $50 by January 17th. At 8:35, which is your next court date. And then your jury trial date is February 7th at 1:35. All right, so you are all set, Mr. Durham.
Mr. Durham is saying something, but he's still muted.
Mr. Durham, you are muted, sir. I don't know if you know how to unmute yourself. It's the bottom left-hand corner.
I object to these proceedings.
Your objection is noted, Mr. Durham. So you got your jury trial date, and then you have your pre-trial date, the final pre-trial.
Okay, when is the prosecution going to send me all the evidence, including the witness, the damaged property, and the injured party's name? I need to know everybody involved. I need all this information.
Of course you do. Mr. Durham, what that is called discovery. And you have to do a request in writing.
Ma'am, I'm not part of y'all society. I don't have to follow those rules and regulations because you can't tell me where to find the rules and regulations for statutory jurisdiction. Where can I find a copy of the rules and procedures for statutory jurisdiction? Because that's what you're operating under, statutory law, right? A statutory jurisdiction. Where can I find the rules for that? Can you tell me where I can get a copy?
You have your request in writing for discovery, okay, sir? And she should be able to give you the police reports or whatever she has. She can email it to you so that you can prepare for trial.
Are you going to give me your oath of office and bonding information? That's including the name, address, and policy number of your bond? Are you going to give me that?
I don't even know what all of that is.
Your public officials surety bond, just in case you violate my rights. All public officials must be bonded. You don't know what a bond is?
No, I don't.
I'm gonna write the treasurer, and they're gonna tell me the name of your bonding company. I'm gonna write the treasurer.
Myself, so I'm giving.
So you're not bonded. So you're not bonded, is what you're saying.
I've given you all the information that you need.
Okay.
This hearing, so you are all set, Mr. Durham. Unless you had other questions, you are all set, sir.
Yeah, I do have questions, but you won't answer them. You won't answer none of my questions. Are you operating under a statutory jurisdiction, a common law jurisdiction, or admiralty jurisdiction?
This matter is concluded, so you're all set.
Oh, so okay, I understand now. The bully tactic. Don't nobody want to answer questions, but they want me to comply with. I don't understand that. How am I supposed to have compelled performance if y'all don't want to answer no questions?
I'm not threatening you. Say one more word and that's 30 days. 30 days.